can't even go into Tesco's now without the Tories laughing at you. They are laughing in your face. You can't even walk into Tesco's and without being reminded of how much they're laughing at everyone, every single taxpayer. They are laughing at us. Went in there to Tesco's last night, food bank, a food bank collection point, saying Tesco's will donate this food to a local food bank. And I thought, what the fuck? What are you doing, Tesco's? What are you doing? Christ, if Tesco's just paid, Tesco's are a prime example of why there's food banks in this country. You got a whole army, thousands and thousands of people on a minimum wage, while they're posting record profit year after year after year. Billions of pounds in profit. Someone told me something like 1 in every £8 spent in the UK is spent in Tesco's, but they can't afford to pay their workers a decent wage. So it's probably the same part-time workers in Tesco's that are going down to the food banks and picking up the food that the people that shop at Tesco's have dropped off. How does this make any sense, Tesco's? You got like a workfare army at Tesco's. They've been handed a massive workfare contract. They've got unemployed people working there for free, and then they're going down to the benefit shop claiming housing benefits and tax credits and whatever else that they're claiming. They can't afford to eat. How can you afford to eat if you're getting paid nothing for working at Tesco's? Of course you're going to be down a food bank. Of course you're going to be down a fucking food bank. Christ alive. And then you've got the fact that Tesco's admitted, like, not so long ago, they throw away, like, up to sometimes a third of their fresh produce. A third of that. Why aren't you, instead of having to make it, put barbed wire fences around your bins and anti-climb paint to stop people stealing food out your bins, why don't you give some of that food away? Why don't you start paying people a decent living wage so they don't have to... people don't climb over fences and rob old food out of bins just to save a few pence. They do it because they're hungry. They do it because they can't pay the heating. They do it because they can't pay the council tax. It's just a joke. I mean, Tesco's have got this cute little image of every little helps, you know. We're all in it together trying to make a saving for you and me. But if you can't even pay your workers a minimum wage, it's shocking. And then you're asking your own customers to subsidise your workers. I mean, we're already subsidising them because if they're not earning a living wage, they're probably claiming a benefit. So there you go, the taxpayers are topping up a Tesco worker's wage. The taxpayer, me and you, are topping up a Tesco worker's wage so he can survive, while Tesco's are making millions, billions of pounds profit every year. And they've got no accountability. No one is going to call them up on this. You've got ITV News. They're not going to run a story about how shitty Tesco's treat their workers. They're not going to run a story about the irony of food banks in in Britain's biggest supermarket. Why are they? They've got a 30-second, 1-minute Tesco trail in between the ad break of the news saying every little helps. Get your Tesco value corned beef or whatever. Feed your family on Spam. Of course ITV aren't going to criticise Tesco's when they're paying them millions of pounds in advertising fees. Of course the Sun or the Express isn't going to run a story on how Tesco's profits are totally unequal to the wage that they're given. Of course they're not, because they've got an advert on the next page saying get your cheap baked beans, 10p for a can of baked beans. Of course they're not going to call them up. The only media source that's going to call accountability to these kind of basic just government scam, corporation and government scam is what it is. The only people that's going to call these people up are the BBC, and where are they? They're nowhere. They are nowhere. The BBC, they don't have sponsors. They don't have corporate sponsors. They don't have to look out. They don't have to worry about stepping on people's toes. But still, they won't run a story like that. They should be there. If Tesco's was a proper public service broadcaster that stood up for the majority, that represented the views of the majority, they'd have a camera outside Tesco's every day demanding that they pay people more, demanding that they stop sponging off the government, demanding that they give back their workfare army. If you've got an army of workfare people working in your store, If you've got jobs for them to do, pay them a fucking wage. It's ridiculous. And who's the head of Tesco's? I mean, I bet it'll take 10 minutes of Googling to probably find out that, you know, you've probably got one of the heads of Tesco's is probably a lord, Conservative lord. Probably got members of the cabinet who run have advisory roles, chairman roles on Tesco's board. Who knows? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Can't even go to Tesco's nowadays without the Tories laughing at you.